There is the Donald Trump that exists in reality, and there's the Donald Trump lovers wish he could be, but he won't because he doesn't really care about them, and he's a very, very lazy, stupid man. But don't worry. The gap between the real Trump and the fake Trump is easy to bridge with technology, particularly AI. And so when Donald Trump refuses to go to churches, they make an image of him praying. It's not real, but they like it. When he refuses to hang out with anyone who's not lily white, they just deep fake him into a cookout or something, and they like it. It's good for them. Well, now there's a hurricane, and it's very important to the right to pretend that the Democrats, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, aren't doing anything about it. Whereas Donald Trump is a hero, the hero America needs and deserves, as you can see in images like this. It's Donald Trump wading through thigh-high water from the hurricane, which is amazing. Donald Trump not only exercising, which has never been before caught on photos, but being a hero, really, trying to rescue people. Now, Fred Smith, who tweeted that out, says, "Can anyone verify this or disprove it?" And I think I might be able to. It's fake. You know how I know? Because what the hell are we doing? Obviously it's fake. Well, yes, okay, the hand is a dead giveaway. He's got a pig's foot as a hand, you weirdo. Did you even look at the image before you spread it? But also, you don't need to look for the telltale signs of an AI generated image. I would bet every cent I will ever possess, and indeed the cents that my descendants in the next 500 years, if I should be so lucky, will ever make, that he would never, ever do anything like that. You fools, how could you possibly think that was true? But again, it's out there. And if you're a Trump supporter, hey, he's a hero, you know? He's not just throwing paper towels this time, he's actually trying to rescue people. And if it was true, he'd be tweeting it out or truthing it out. Honestly, we're kind of surprised here at TDR that he's not truthing it out anyway. He's spread deep fake images of Taylor Swift. Do you really think that he will never spread a fake image of him doing something heroic? I think it might happen. But anyway, AI's been all over the place. AI election misinformation is starting to get bigger. This sort of thing seems like it'd be easy to disprove and it wouldn't convince anyone. There's a lot of really gullible people, and I hate that it exists.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like in line with a large segment of Trump's most ardent supporters, where it's not really based in like what this guy as a civil servant can do for American society. It's just based on winning some rhetorical online wars, settling scores, aka owning the libs, right? And like, if it doesn't have to be based in material reality, then virtual reality and AI wars is gonna suffice, and these people are gonna have fun and say, well, in the alternate computer world, Donald Trump's a great humanitarian. Donald Trump cares about people. Donald Trump cares about the sick. It's like that's all this is to me. This is just like two people's Sims characters, like as if Kamala was a Sims character and so was Donald Trump, and they were doing great battle on the internet and Donald Trump won. That's what it means to these people, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, 100%. It's like the right has been very successful at convincing anyone who watches Fox News, votes for Republicans, like, just don't worry about the real world. Just come up with a better world in your mind. Don't aspire to make our world into that better world. Just dwell in your skull where you are simultaneously the best person that's ever lived and also a perpetual victim, and everything's coming up you. And Donald Trump cares about you because he's the sort of person who cares about other people. And he would wade into flood waters to save you. Come on, man. And by the way, I'm not saying Joe Biden would do that. Joe Biden would have drowned 3 seconds after stepping into that water. Harris isn't getting to the water. I don't know many politicians that would. You know why? Because they're politicians. They're not actual heroes, okay? There are firemen and some cops, and there's some soldiers that might do that sort of thing. Not most senators, I don't think. Now, that's not to say that Donald Trump hasn't been doing anything. I'll allow the audience to decide how helpful it is, but he has spent a lot of time on Truth Social, truthing things like the response to the hurricane by lying Kamala Harris is now rated the worst storm response in history. And I fact checked that at Hurricane Government Response Ratings.com, and she is the worst. It's the worst it's ever been rated in the ratings of her. What are we doing? What the hell are we doing, America? It's not a thing. It's not a thing. And here it even gets weirder. I'm not going to read this entire truth to you, but he truthed this talking about 60 Minutes, the thing that he was supposed to do. And then he fled because they were going to fact check him. And he's such a scared little tiny baby boy that he didn't want that. Well, Harris did do an interview at 60 Minutes, and shocker, he didn't like it. But anyway, he goes on to say, because she did a terrible response to the hurricane and it's being reviewed as the worst in American history on Metacritic.com, posters are saying that the anti or negative capital V vote in those places, and even places not affected but with people watching what took place, will be heavily against her. The anti or negative vote. He doesn't see any of what's happening with Helene, possibly with Milton, through any other lens than how it affects the election for him politically. That is literally all. And at the same exact time, his forces in Fox News and all that are pretending that it's being politicized by the Democrats or whatever. They're trying to fund the response. You guys are trying to invent side crises about lasers and Jewish billionaires making hurricanes and everything. It is just such a dereliction of, I'm not gonna say the duty to the people because these people don't feel any duty, but just to not be totally fake about everything. Like hundreds of people died, countless billions of dollars of damage, and they're about to be hit again. And this is what they're getting from the ostensible leader of one of the two major political parties in this country was.
This is kind of par for the course, right, John? This isn't any departure from the Trump that started this campaign, what is now 9 years ago in 2015, coming down that escalator. You would think that there would have been some improvements or some variations, but it's just more of the same, right? Like he gets on the internet, he says the most unhinged, sort of divorced from reality thing as possible, particularly when he's talking about his opponents and keeping it pushing. Again, I think it's important that people realize, back in 2015, when he was doing this populism stuff, and some people would say it was disingenuous and fake, but it was speaking to something real that people were actually feeling in terms of, deindustrialization and globalization and free trade and all of these things, and how it completely disrupted so many communities in the American heartland and ruined jobs and stuff like he was getting at some real stuff. But anytime he was talking about his opponents, it was always the most hyperbolic, most harebrained stuff that you could find. And I think this stuff has remained the same, except now we don't even get the populism lip service. There is, I guess, broadly some support to curtail immigration to our country, and Donald Trump kind of speaks to that. But there's nothing else that, nothing else is there.
Yeah, that is true. There is at least that, and I hate that the word populism means too much. It spans too much meaning, where you can have different forms of it, and the right gets to claim a form of it. And the only part of all of that meaning that is true to their form of it is exactly what Waz said. The little bit right there that's just about demonizing immigrants. None of the rest of it. Wages, benefits, time off. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Guatemalans. That's the part we're doing. We're going to do the Guatemalan part, and that's it. And I hate it. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.